The Eldritch Podblast.
I am Margaret.
I am Jack.
Don't think we introduced ourselves last time, but that's
Doesn't
okay.
matter.
And this is episode 4.
Episode 4.
Yes, we once again nailed the joint intro there.
Yeah.
Well done us.
We haven't actually talked about that outside of this.
Outside of actually sitting down and filming.
But it's the eyes.
It's the eyes. It's the crazy eyes.
I know it's the cue.
Yeah.
I know it's the cue.
Exactly. So, anything you want to catch up on?
Going to a gig tonight?
Yes. We're going to Holding Absence
Yeah,
tonight.
we're going to see a band called Holding Absence in Sunderland.
Which are one of our favourite bands.
Yeah.
I 100% would recommend them if you're into like alternative music. You're better with genres than I am, but I would say like alternative emo.
Yeah.
Music.
I would say the like rocky emo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're into like super like great melodic, incredible vocals, great music.
They pay. Are Holding Absence sponsoring this podcast?
This episode is sponsored by Holding Absence, the band.
We checked out every time before we go to a gig, we checked out the venue.
Yeah.
Just on Google Images, so Margaret can see if she's going to find like a little shelf to look, because she's 5'1".
I'm 5'1.5" actually.
So we've checked the venue and it doesn't look like she's going to be able to see. So Margaret's just mentally preparing herself for just hearing the gig.
Just hearing the gig, but I mean that's the most important thing, isn't it? Just hearing.
Hearing. Maybe we can like squeeze you in between two tall people.
Yeah,
you can maybe get a little view.
Oh right, I thought you meant like squeeze me in between so one tall person's in front of me and one tall person's behind me. That would be great. The true gig experience.
So that's what we're doing tonight.
Yes.
And then we're playing D&D tomorrow.
Yeah, playing D&D tomorrow. We watched the first 3 episodes of the new Vox Machina series on Prime.
Season 2.
Great.
It was amazing.
10 out of 10.
Very sad ending.
Very sad ending.
Obviously, I knew that was going to happen because I've watched it.
Well, let's not spoil it just in case people haven't.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to say it.
Sad.
Sadness.
A lot of tears.
Yeah.
A lot of ugly crying in that episode.
Margaret ugly cries mostly everything all the time, but that was definitely an ugly cry.
Yeah, I could ugly cry right now if I wanted to. So I'm the crier of the group, definitely.
Yeah. We watched the first episode of The Last of Us.
Yes, we did.
That was amazing.
Yeah. I know people always rag on like adaptations of games.
Because normally they shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right, but this
that did it just
100% breaks the mold. There was so many things. I've played Last of Us Part 1. Oh my god, 1,000,000 billion times over.
I think I played it once.
Yeah, well, yeah, but there were so many things that were so symbolic. It was amazing, and they nailed the casting.
Yeah.
The acting was brilliant.
Yeah.
They had the same musical score from the game.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
I think it was good that they... Because that game's, got a lot of action.
Yeah.
But they just took their time in that first episode and just really... Just set the scene. And there was lots of, like... After it all happened and establishing the world again after it happened. I thought it was great.
It was great.
It was really great.
It was really good. Cannot wait to see where it goes. I wonder if they're going to do the whole first game.
Don't know. Maybe. Hopefully.
I hope so.
It would be a pretty obvious place to start and finish.
Yeah. Well, the start and the end.
Yeah, the start and the end of the game. But I think we're gonna watch the second episode this week as well because that's out, but we haven't seen it yet. So no spoilers.
Yeah, you spoil. We're looking at you, even though we've both played the game and we know what happens. Yeah, we know
exactly what's going to happen.
That's not to say that that's going to happen in the series, though. To be fair,
I mean, if the first episode's anything to go by, it probably will. Yeah, because that was pretty true.
It was actually. It was a very close depiction. Great, 10 out of 10. There was a lot of great things on
that
TV.
And Vox Machina.
Yes, great things on TV right now, and we're going to a gig tonight. So. I guess we should get on to the main topic.
Yeah, what do we got today, Margaret?
The main thing we want to discuss today is what makes a good group in D&D.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to follow it up. We've really been having fun with some of this AI stuff. Yeah. And you suggested literally this morning, how about you try and see if it can come up with like the motives of a BBEG?
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of finessing that went into it. But
I don't know, I didn't see.
No, you but I think it's quite good. It's quite interesting. I'm excited to show you all.
I am excited. I think everything we've done so far has been really good. I definitely think the magic items were better than the monsters.
The monsters
were pretty basic. The magic items were kind of cool. And I'd be interested in, because I thought the part of the monsters that was good was like the dungeon aspects, like the describing aspects. So yes. I feel like it might actually be quite good at the BBEG like motives.
Yeah, I think one thing we came to the conclusion to. What were you whispering into the mic there?
Motives.
Oh, right.
I was getting into my BBEG mind frame.
Sorry, very sorry, and I just interrupted you. So if that isn't the experience, I don't know what is.
That is an origin story right there. You interrupted me on the podcast in front of all of these people. Now it begins.
Time to die.
Time to die.
Okay, so on to our main topic is what makes a good group in D&D.
Yeah.
So I wrote some pointers down.
Okay.
The first point that we want to go over is you need to make sure that everyone is on the same page.
Massive importance when it comes to making sure that everybody has a good time is setting everyone's expectations on the same sort of level.
Yeah. And that can be done, we suggest, ideally, at session 0.
Session 0 is a good place to do it. So I give, because I think it's good too for a DM to be, sort of give a small intro to the world so people can sort of get the vibes of what the world is going to be. Also, it's tough, isn't it? Because when people want different things out of D&D, me and you, like, lots of story and lots of mystery and lots of intrigue and things like that, and we want like a story to follow. Some people just want to fucking turn up and laugh and just want to turn up and meme away.
Some people want to come up. Some people want to turn up and fuck shit up.
Come up.
come up, exactly. Some people want to come up, fuck your shit up and leave.
Yeah, they just want to turn up, have a combat every week.
Yeah.
Wreck the joint.
Yep.
They don't care about murder hoboing and stuff
No,
that.
Yeah.
And they just want to do it for a bit of fun, a bit of a laugh and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's fine too.
Yeah.
But I think they're a distinction that needs to be made immediately.
Definitely. And I think I kind of made a next point of you should set the tone for the campaign, which I think that goes under the umbrella of make sure everyone's on the same page, have a session 0.
Yeah.
If you have a primer for your world, give it out to people. The difference between the campaigns we've played in that had a world primer beforehand and didn't, you can tell the difference in the way people craft their characters, the way people even pick like their classes and the subclasses and their race.
Yeah.
It helps to draw that inspiration, I think, from the world primer.
Agree. Because we're currently running like a Norse-themed campaign.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Vikings. I
played a lot of God of War.
Played a lot
Played a lot of Valheim.
Played so much Valheim.
We played so much fucking Valheim.
Like, I think we did like 3 different campaigns. And I just sort of started looking into the lore and got sort of embroiled in the lore.
Entranced by it.
Yeah, and the thing is the beauty of Norse mythology is it's not really... There's only 2 main books. And that's it. And a lot of...
On the whole of Norse mythology?
Really, yeah. They're what a lot of stories come from. Is the prose edda and the poetic edda. And they even conflict each other in some ways. So there's quite a lot of mystery that you can just make up.
Yeah.
Obviously, mine isn't canon to the Norse lore. There's just lots of references and gods and things like that. And... like the Jotnar are a big thing and stuff like that, and I can't remember where I was going with this point from the beginning. But
you were just saying about your world and how you gave us a primer for it.
In my first one, I didn't really give you a primer, but in this one, it was sort of this is the vibes, this is the setting. The Fimbulwinter's ended. Ragnarok hasn't happened, which has always been said that it would happen, and you guys then just like began to weave your characters into that story.
Yeah, which I think all of us did. We all really... I don't really know how much everyone knows about Norse mythology apart from what I know, we both know from playing those games and watching those things. Yeah. I know Abby knows a lot about Norse mythology because she knows a lot about mythology about everything.
Yeah, she likes mythology.
Oh yeah, she's a
likes
big...
to read.
Big old reader, big old brain.
But what I was going to say is, talking about vibes, is if you come in and you're like, I'm this... Let me think of it. I'm this monk and I like to I don't know, I'm like a Psi warrior. It's like, that's not going to really fit into my Viking style campaign. That's what I was going with.
Yes. Yeah.
So I gave you the idea of the campaign, and then you all were very, very good at coming up with things that could easily fit into the campaign.
Yeah, because I think you did actually mention up front that I was going to say magic and music are still quite primal. It's more of a kind of witchy, shamany vibe. So yeah, you're right. Like something like a Psi warrior.
There's not a huge amount of people who have magic. Like, magic is definitely a thing, and I think you guys all know now, like, a lot of, like, the wizards and the magic-y folk are from a place called Scaloness in my world, and they're the wizards who, like, impart knowledge upon the kingdom.
Yeah. And
if you were like, oh yeah, I'm a mint wizard and I fucking smash it up with my magic all the time, it's like, you can be, but you haven't listened to what I've said.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's not to say that you can't flavour things differently.
No, you can flavour them however you want.
You can 100% make sure that things can be flavoured properly. Yeah. But yeah, it is important to let your players know, for everyone to know exactly what to expect going into it.
Yeah, and that fits into what makes a good group, is you think of a world and you think of this setting and you think of a story and then you give it to your players and they go, oh, that's really cool, I'm going to do this with my character.
Yeah.
And then it slots straight into your world.
Yes.
Which is what you want.
This advice isn't just for DMs as well, it's for players.
Yeah.
Make sure you do go to your session 0. Make sure you do read the world primer.
Read the world.
Read the world.
Read the world intro. It's so important.
You will get so much inspiration from just reading the world. And if the world is something you're not interested in, maybe that's the point when you say, maybe I don't want to play in this campaign because I'm not into the world. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, no, absolutely nothing wrong with that. And this all cycles back round to everyone should be on the same page. Yeah. This is the time when you should, if you are introducing any homebrew rules, any ones that you want to kind of get the ground running with, set them up. Mm-hmm. Any limitations for magic, like you said, get it set up. Mind going blank? My first campaign, I didn't do a world setting. Yeah. Luckily, none of you picked like outlandish things. You picked, obviously Margaret plays a druid in every campaign. Yes. So you were a shepherd druid. Mm-hmm. Matthew was a aberrant mind sorcerer. Mm-hmm. And Josh was a vengeance paladin. Yeah. Like, there was nothing... I didn't have really a world setting, so there wasn't anything that wouldn't fit. I would have just fit you into the world. Yeah. And I've done the same with this one. Like, what have we got? We've got a moon druid. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's a lot of Skull and Hattie and things like that with the moon and the sun. Yep. So there's a lot of that can be weaved into the lore. We've got a scout rogue. Yeah. We've got a shadow sorcerer. Mm-hmm. And we've got a blood cleric. Yeah. So again, nothing sort of crazy. Blood cleric, very much into the pagan-y sort of... blood sacrifices, etc. Mystical magic sort of vibes. Lots of blood sacrifices going on, yeah. So everybody picked something quite in keeping. Yeah. And it was quite easy to do. But you guys, I think... You guys sort of thrive off when I give you something, it gives you a starting point. And very much so. Because, God, trust me, I know it's hard thinking of a world, but it's also hard thinking of a character. It is. It can be really difficult thinking of a character, especially if, for me, I'm very derivative. I get all of my ideas from things I've watched and things I like, and I, in very black and white, go, oh my God, this is a great idea for a character. And then... trying to fit something so rigid as that into something as rigid as like a world primer can be difficult. Mm-hmm. But that's why having a world primer helps, because it just gets all your thoughts going. All the thoughts I had for Rayla, my current moon druid, is very centered around, like you said, Skull, Hearty, centered around Valhalla, centered around being honorable, even though that's a questionable thing at this point for her. So in our campaign, Margaret's character... like where Yggdrasil like branches into Midgard, there's a group of druids that circle the tree, and that's where you came from, isn't it? You're like a druid that protects Yggdrasil. Yeah, protect them in the night. And like, you know what I mean? Could you ask anything more as a DM for someone to be like, I worship Skull and Hattie to not even really gods in normal Norse mythology, we made them gods in this world, and I protect Yggdrasil. Like, that's just
perfect for me. It's just easy for me to fit into the world, and it just gives so much like lore and so much for me to work with. It's amazing.
I would have never thought of that if I didn't read the world primer.
Exactly. So that's a big thing.
Yeah. So make sure everyone's on the same page in terms of that.
Session 0, vibes, setting.
Yeah.
Any homebrew rules.
Yeah. And I mean,
all of this makes for a happy party.
Yeah, 100%. And more so than that, moving away from kind of like the actual campaign information, things like your scheduling, making sure that you guys can have an open discussion about your scheduling, when you can be there, when you can't be there, and then what's going to happen if someone can't be there is really important.
That's a massive one.
Scheduling is unfortunately the death of a lot of D&D groups.
Agreed.
And we are so lucky in the fact that we're all quite flexible. Mm-hmm. Every week we go, right, Wednesday is the day that we play D&D.
We all know that. Wednesday's the day at this specific time at our house, on this table.
We'll drop the postcode below. Yeah, that's an important thing.
And for the love of God, I know most people do it, have a group chat. So
yes,
don't just, because the thing is, if one person has bad communication, and don't be scared, if you can't make it, just be open and honest.
Just say,
this day I can't make it. Because then early doors, you can be like, let's change the day. And if no one's particularly flexible, then it's okay. We'll just take a rain check, but do it early. Don't do it the night before.
Yeah, don't do it the day of. Make sure just open. There's gonna be a theme throughout all of this. Is mainly open communication with your group.
With everyone, not just your DM.
Yeah, with everyone. And you also need to decide if someone can't make it, do you continue to play without them? Do you rain check? Do you see if you can reschedule? Our group, we have a few things set in place. So if we can't do Wednesdays, we normally can move it to a Thursday.
Yeah.
And if we can't move it to a Thursday, we'll just play without that person.
Yeah. Luckily, we don't have a lot of cancellations.
No.
Luckily.
No. There is only 5 of us. So DM 4
and
players.
2 of us live together.
And 2 of us live together. So and
makes it a lot easier.
We're really lucky with the types of jobs that our friends have, where they can say, "Oh, I can't work Wednesday after this time."
Yeah, Wednesday is a no-go.
Yeah, and obviously, some people will not have that luxury. I think a lot of people wouldn't have that luxury. So make sure
scheduling leads to a stress-free, happy group.
There's nothing worse than missing a session and having to get back into the groove of things. And again, this is all dependent on how often you want to play. We play once a week. You might only want to play once every 2 weeks, once every month.
Yeah. And also, if you aren't going to be there, speak to your DM about whether you want your characters to still be there and be run by the DM or be run by another player, or if you want your character to just have been moved out.
Yes. Yeah. So the next thing is safety tools.
The controversial one, which shouldn't be very controversial at all.
It shouldn't be controversial. And if your DM or your players are saying it's controversial, then that is a fucking red flag.
Red flag and get out.
You should always, in whatever form works for your group, you need to talk about what are people's triggers, what people are okay with you talking about, what people are okay just knowing has happened, and what people don't want at all.
Like, we won't go into any of the ones that we have because that's not fair and I wouldn't want to do that. But I live with you, but you have one. And you told me, and I'd never thought that you wouldn't want me to talk about that. But then you said it and I was like, I can understand why you wouldn't want me to talk about that.
Yeah.
And like, I don't understand where people get upset about this. Your player doesn't want you to talk about something. All you need to do is talk about everything else apart from that one thing. It is not hard.
Yes.
I just don't understand why you would get... People have been through a lot. So just respect it. If somebody doesn't want one thing bringing up, just don't fucking bring it up.
Yeah. Past few years have been rough for everyone.
Everyone.
In many, many different ways.
For many different reasons.
And it always has been hard for people, and it always will be. So make sure before you start playing, there is some way to find out from your players what they're comfortable with and what they're not comfortable with. When I had my campaign, I just made a simple Google form survey. I set it to anonymous. I sent it out and I said, is there anything at all you don't want me to talk about? It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I don't even think you said it.
No, I didn't.
You didn't even go over, but at the end of the day, you're the DM, you are the person who leads the story and what we're going to be encountering and what we're going to come across.
Yeah.
You're the one who has the power to not put something in. And you're the only person who needs to know. And any DM who turns up at the beginning of first session is like, all right, well, this person said we didn't want to talk about this. No, you don't do that. Just confidential. Just get the information.
Yep.
That's it. That's the end of it. You just don't bring those topics up.
Exactly. And you know what? Say it with me. When you assume... You make an ass out of you and me. Baby. Don't assume anything.
No.
There was, again, I don't want to get too much into it. There were things even on my survey that I did not expect. Things that I had no idea, and I wouldn't.
And I got the same survey, and I didn't put anything down because there's nothing that I don't want to, there's nothing that sort of triggers me like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't mind if other people put things down. Like, I can respect the fact that every single person's different.
Yeah, and things change. Things can always change. Yeah. You know what? I was watching a TikTok the other day. I don't want to get her username wrong, and I will link it in the description. Okay. I think it's Little Goblin Girl.
Very cute name.
Very cute. They talk a lot about things they do in their campaign. Very entertaining. Would 10 out of 10 recommend.
Amazing.
And they put out a TikTok that said... It was about triggers, and they were saying, I didn't realize that this was a trigger for me until it actually happened. And when it actually happened, I panicked. And then all I did was I turned around to my DM. I said, I'm not comfortable with this. My DM immediately shut it down. Worked out ways we could get around it. Worked out ways we could not talk about it again. And that is how it should be.
That's how it should be, yeah. Good on that DM. And good on that player.
Yeah, I agree.
For being like, I planned this, but if you're not comfortable, that's more important.
Definitely.
That's more important.
Be willing to change and be willing to...
Adapt.
Exactly. Adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's really good. And, there might be things that you come across that if you turn to me and said, I'm not comfortable about this topic, there's no need to panic as a DM.
No.
We'll just come out again for a second. Okay, we'll just pretend like this segment happened this way and we did this slightly differently. We're going to just carry on like this. Not a single person's going to be like, well, you've ruined me immersion in the game.
And I think...
Shut the fuck up.
That is one of the most... When people mention safety tools, you know the type of people who come out of the woodwork and they say, well, this stuff happens in real life, so it should happen in my game. And if you can't handle it in my game, how will you handle it in real life? Listen, Dungeons & Dragons is not real. It is a game. It's a fantasy world that you create for people to have fun in.
I can guarantee those people also say the word walk all the time.
You're a snowflake.
If you're that type of person, fuck you.
Yeah, get fucked.
Don't watch our podcast.
Yeah, fuck off.
Fucking unsubscribe and don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. Get the fuck out of here. We don't want you. Anyway,
that's...
Safety tools. Very important.
Very important.
Doesn't take long. Yeah. Do it before the campaign. And if it comes up in the game, nobody be a fucking dick about it. Mm-hmm. Just find a way to move on and get past it.
It could be some, I think when we say safety tools as well, people jump to the worst conclusion, the scariest, darkest shit. Have you ever watched that clip? I shouldn't laugh. That clip on Maury where that woman is scared of pickles and he brings out a tray full of 1 million pickles and he chases around. Your player could be scared of pickles. Just don't put pickles in.
It's not fucking hard. Just don't put pickles in. The thing is, I bet you weren't even going to fucking put pickles in. But now that somebody said that you can't put pickles in, you'd be like, well, I weren't before. I was going, my big bad evil guy was going to be a pickle.
You've got me a big fucking spicy pickle in it. So, yeah, that's it.
Just you know what?
I just wanted an excuse to bring up the clip of the one being chased with pickles.
That sounds awful.
It's horrible. Isn't that completely
What's
cruel?
Maury?
It's you don't know what Maury is?
No.
It's like a chat. An American chat show, like
fucking there you go.
Yeah, like it's like Jerry Springer-esque.
Fucking Jesus.
Yeah. One of them things from back in the day. Don't know if it's still going. Anyway, I digress from Maury and pickles. So those kind of cover the basic things of same page, scheduling, safety tools, session 0, set the vibes. We also wanted to say you don't need a set amount of players as well.
No.
I think it's a common thing for people to think you need like 8 players in your campaign, or at least a minimum of 5, really. Mm-hmm. You absolutely do not.
Yeah.
And we can attest to that because for the longest time, we played as a 3.
Yeah.
And that was great.
Yeah.
Playing as a 3 was brilliant. Playing as a 4, in my opinion, is better because we have a slightly more balanced team.
Yeah.
But
I also think that's down to subclass and class selections.
Yeah. But you can manage.
You can manage with 3 people.
You can manage with 3 people. 100%.
You could probably manage with 2.
Yeah. If
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Honestly, it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, Ginny D posted a video about even doing solo play. Do you know what I mean?
I think it would probably be quite cool. I've never tried it myself.
Yeah. So you fuck everyone else. Play by yourself.
Your
don't have to worry about any of this. Play by yourself.
So yeah, but don't be like, oh, we can't play. I've only got 3 players. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. We played an entire campaign that was quite hard, quite testing in terms of combat with 3 players.
Yeah, and before that, we dropped down from 5 players to 3 players.
Yeah.
In our long-term, I was going to say combat, long-term campaign before that. Perfect. It was
3
fine.
Players, yeah.
It was absolutely
And that
fine.
was in the middle. We lost a cleric and we lost a rogue.
Yeah.
And we still played.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a barbarian, a warlock, and a wizard. So it wasn't exactly...
there was no healing.
There was no healing. Our DM was quite flexible. And
yes. He gave us a lot of health potions.
He gave us a lot of health potions. I ended up changing my subclass to a hexblade so I could be ranged, be melee with you, with Ross, and we adapted and overcame. Adapt and overcome.
Is that what the title of this video is going to be?
Overcome.
Adapt and overcome. Kill them all.
Yeah, it's doable. And then my campaign was quite balanced though because we had a paladin tank, a druid healer, and a sorcerer DPS.
Yeah.
So that was quite easy to balance, I think.
Yeah, well, you know what? That actually brings us perfectly on to the next point was you don't need traditional roles for your party to work.
Nope.
You do not need the designated tank, DPS, and healer.
You don't need, like World of Warcraft, you don't need 1 tank, 3 DPS, and a healer.
Exactly.
You don't need it.
You don't need it.
If your group wants to be a wizard, a sorcerer, and a warlock, you can make it work. It doesn't matter.
A wizard, a warlock, and a barbarian. There you go.
Yeah. If that's what you want to do, you can make it work.
Yeah, definitely. So people... Again, you don't need to worry about, oh my god, is the tank role fulfilled?
Oh my god, we don't have a tank, yeah.
Is the healer fulfilled? Just, you know what? Decide what you want to be. I would probably recommend having a conversation with the group and at least just letting them know what role you're going to play.
Yeah. I think that's within the group.
Yes,
the group should be like,
within the group.
I'm playing this, and I'm doing
exactly.
this.
I feel like in our group, people like to keep a lot of this stuff secret.
Yeah, I think next campaign I'm not going to ban it because I don't want to be that guy. But I am gonna say like we're having an open conversation about what roles of the party we're fulfilling.
Yes,
and
I
not
think
being
that's
like,
important.
Well, I'm going to keep mine secret, and I'm going to keep mine secret, because then all of you could play wizards. And that's not good for anyone. That probably wouldn't happen. Or it's like, all 4 of you pick tank. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, I wanted to be the tank. And it's like, yeah, I know, but somebody else. It's like, I think you should just at least say what role you would like to fulfill in the party.
I agree. I completely agree.
You don't have to say exactly what class and subclass, but just tell us at least what you're going to fulfill.
Yeah, I actually think there's an argument to be made about saying what class you're going to be as well.
Potentially, yeah.
Just so your DM is prepared going forward for how
I knew.
Yeah, how the group composition is going to be. And so people know going forward like a strategy for how they can aid the party, because everyone helps the party in different ways. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And again, you do not need the strict tank, DPS, healer, but I think there is something to be said for letting your party know at least what you're going to be.
And I think people keep them secret and stuff like that, but do you want to know the best thing is when you're thinking about I'm playing the sorcerer and I'm going to get this spell and I'm going to get this spell, and it's like, oh, well, I'm this class, and it's like, I could use haste on you and you could get this, and it's like, those combinations can lead to beautiful things. Combinations.
Yeah.
Those synergies.
Yeah.
And you can start to think about, oh, well, if this character's this, then what if I'm this subclass and then I can do this and help them this way?
Yeah.
A lot of things from communication.
Yeah.
Would you believe it? From communication,
What?
Synergies can be born.
Yes.
And I think that's a good thing as well.
I agree.
But yeah, I do agree. In
think,
terms of roles,
yeah,
you don't need every role filling.
No.
There's like in our campaign, our last one, you were the healer.
Yep.
Who actually found out that you don't like to be the healer.
Yeah.
Halfway through the campaign.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you didn't really pick. You picked a.
I picked a Circle of Shepherd Druid.
Yeah, you were a summoner. You weren't a healer.
Yes.
It's not a healer subclass.
Yeah, but I forced myself into the role of the healer.
You did, and then it sort of became not expected of you. But then,
yeah, it did become expected of me.
So then it got to a point where Margaret was like, Jack, I don't like being the healer.
Hate being the healer.
And do you want to know what happened? I just gave you a magic item that allowed you to heal. I gave you a staff of healing.
Yep.
And you could just heal people without using all your spell slots.
Yeah.
And it was an easy fix.
Yep, 100%.
Done.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sorry to backtrack this conversation to about 3 years ago.
Are we talking about the pickles again?
Yeah, I can't get the pickles off my brain.
Got pickles on the brain.
Got pickles on the brain, man. No, about keeping things secret. I do want to say there is a difference between keeping things a secret mechanically and keeping things a secret roleplay-wise. I think holding on to secrets for your backstory, letting it unravel slowly is great. That is my preferred way to play, but it is very different from keeping secrets mechanically from the party.
Yeah.
And I think there is a fine line that can be tread there sometimes. That's all.
Yeah, just wanted to get your piece out there.
I thought you were going to say pickle.
You want to get your pickles out there.
Just wanted to get my pickles out.
Laying your pickles out.
Just laying my pickles all out of the table.
Spreading the pickles on the table.
Yep. Pickle for everyone. Pickle for you. Pickle for you. Pickle for everyone. And really, that is the main bulk of what
makes a good party.
What makes a good party?
Yeah. We
kind of also wanted to talk about what you would consider as the stereotypes of what types of player there are, because gosh darn it, if some of these aren't 100% correct.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I can look at our group and pinpoint everyone, and I'm sure you guys can too.
I think yeah, every group's got them. Every group's got them. Even we have them. And there is obviously the tropes. And the thing is, as a DM, you will know every single player around your table is different.
Yes.
Like, I've got two players that couldn't be any different. I've got Abby and I've got Josh. Abby is 100%. She could literally play D&D and have no combat.
Oh yeah, she could role play forever.
She could turn up and we wouldn't do any combat.
Yeah.
And she'd be happy.
It's like a transformation. And I've said this to her. It's like a transformation. When she takes on her character, we call her the Red Priestess. When she takes on her character, TRP, you can tell she is in her character's headspace. She is the priestess. That is how the priestess would act. That's how she would talk. And thank you for the segue, Abby. That brings us on to the role player.
Yes, which she definitely is.
She definitely is. She embodies the role player. To be fair, I think you could also say that Matthew also embodies the role player as well.
Matthew embodies something different that I think we'll come to in a bit. But get back into Abby and just the role player in general. It's not that Abby doesn't like combat. Abby will turn up and she'll play combat and she'll try hardest.
Oh yeah.
She'll enjoy it and she'll make some Giga Chad moves and she'll bust the combat open and it'll be great. But her enjoyment definitely comes more from the story and the role play.
Yeah.
And this is the point: is a DM, you're gonna have different strokes, different folks. Everybody in your party is gonna like something differently to a different level. So it's just sort of sharing it out equally. I'm
trying to think of a pickle joke. I can't. The brain cell's not activating.
So yeah, Abby is your classic role player.
Yes.
She lives in that fantasy world and she just is excited every week.
She ain't coming back yet.
Nah, she wants to be there. She wants to live there.
Yeah. And I'm sure you all have the role player in your group. And to be fair, I think everyone has a little bit of the role player in them as well.
Especially in our group, every single person commits to the role play. Like, again, we do voices, and everybody has their backstories, and they're all quite intense, and they're all quite fleshed out.
Yeah.
And, you know, when they turn up, they want to be that character and just want to forget about their real world struggles. So everyone in our group is good, but I think Abby embodies the role player the most.
Yeah. So moving on from the role player archetype, we have the combat expert.
Yeah. Which is what I meant. The polar opposite of Abby is Josh.
Yes, who is absolutely our combat expert.
He loves combat. He loves a really hard
and
combat.
He is great at combat.
He's very good at combat.
He is so tactical. He prepares for combat. I don't know how he does it. He's able to look at a map and he's able to look at the enemies and he's able to kind of to be like, oh, okay, this is how this is probably going to go. Fuck me, I can't do that.
Yeah, but that's the point. Everyone's good at different things.
True.
And you need a party like that. And this is the thing, you don't need a party like that, but when you've got like a fleshed out party like we have, you've got like more roleplay heavy people, and you've got more combat heavy people. It's perfect for me because I like both. So it means as a DM, I can have like last session with 3 combats. Dungeon crawl, and it was intense.
Yeah.
And then we've had sessions where we've had no combat, and we've just been shopping around the town and stuff like that. And like you can have all of those things within the party, but you need to just read your party. We've got a easy balance, so we like to do heavy story, heavy combat. Yeah,
which we all love. But you all have one. You all have that person who turns up, they live for the combat.
Yeah.
They like to play the combat.
They analyze the map.
They
listen to what the DM says, and they're like, well, the enemy can move this many feet, and it has this attack, and it is this radius, and it does this type of damage, and they can just store all of that in the brain.
Yep, they can remember what abilities the party has.
Yes.
So they know what they're going to do to bolster the party, or they know they can get a good idea of the party's play style and go from there. We all have one. We all have that one person who's great and excels in combat.
And ours is Josh.
And is this just us dragging our friends to filth, by the way?
I don't think we've said anything bad about them yet. I think we've said only nice things.
I suppose this is us reading our friends to filth.
Yeah.
So then we move on to the people who like both.
Yeah.
The people who like both the roleplay and both the combat the same amount. Which
Jack of all trades. They're just... Whatever the game is going to be, whether it's going to be a combat heavy one or a roleplay heavy one, they are happy either way.
Yeah, and I think that encompasses me and Matthew.
You and Matthew.
Very well.
I would say, yeah. But you two also fill different roles.
Within them as well.
Within them as well.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
I love the roleplay. There is nothing... I've said it before, I'll say it again. Take this, throw it away.
Get it out of here.
Get it fucking gone.
Don't want to be me anymore.
Mortal flesh sack gone, and let me be a druid.
And a sexy elf.
Let me be a sexy elf druid living her best life, doing what she wants.
Yeah.
I love that.
And you do it very well.
Thank you so much. I love clocking out and clocking in as someone else.
Yeah.
And I know Matthew feels exactly the same.
I know he does.
He commits to a voice every week.
He
commits to a backstory. He's very good at being like, right, okay, what would my character think and say in this moment? He's good at being able to refer back to that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we both love a combat. We both love getting into a tough combat. We love the challenge of a combat. We don't want it too hard. Don't want it too easy. And we love it.
Yeah, you both do. But you also both embody 2 different roles as well.
Yes, we do.
Margaret is the Notetaker.
I wrote...
And as a DM, you will appreciate the Notetaker.
Thank you.
Everyone appreciates the Notetaker.
Thank you.
Being able to... Do you know, I can't remember everything all the time, all at once. So even sometimes Margaret has to remind me of someone's name or when I said this or whatever.
Abby's good for that as well. Abby also takes notes. They're not as crazy as my notes. No. They're not as absolutely panicked, rushed, crying, screaming.
And Margaret's also the conspiracy theorist.
was going to say, I've written the Notetaker / conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that we live together. So,
oh my God,
I'll be upstairs at work because we both work from home, and I'll be upstairs in my office working, and Margaret will the door will fly open, and she'll come in, and she'll just intensely stare at me.
I'll be stood there like a brick shit
and
house.
She'll be like, this thing that happened 14 sessions ago, does that link to this thing that we saw 3 sessions ago? I've got my notes and this and that, and I'm like,
what does it mean?
Margaret is intense.
What does it mean?
But there's so many things that if it wasn't for you, sometimes the group might not have figured it out.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. But
I know, but I think the group engages with the story to a degree that I couldn't ever want any more of. Like, everyone turns up and they're invested and they enjoy it, and like that's all I could ever want.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some things that maybe shouldn't be figured out yet, but Margaret figures it out because she's got the notes.
Yeah, I do jump the gun sometimes, a little
sometimes
bit
you're
too
wrong,
soon.
but sometimes you're right.
Sometimes I'm right. You know what? Listen, this is going to be my monologue on how being the note taker can sometimes be a curse.
Go for it. Give me some slam poetry.
It was a dark, cold night. There was thunder and lightning. I was a little bit cold, so I put on a jacket. Yeah, sometimes it can be a curse because all I do is think about it, and I jump to conclusions in my head, and there is nothing better than the payoff of being like, oh my fucking God, I got it right. But also, I can sometimes force myself down a path that might not be the right path.
Mm-hmm.
I can be literally barking up the wrong tree sometimes. But saying that's why it's good to have a mix of everyone, because when I'm barking up the wrong tree, the rest of the group could just pull me back and be like, Margaret, shut the fuck up. This person obviously isn't a sentient egg who wants to rule the world.
I mean, it could be.
Imagine if I just blew open the pot.
How did you know? How did you know?
Cuts to you sat in the dark crying.
Get my notepad out. Yeah. That's a great idea.
Scribbling out images of eggs.
But also, sometimes, especially with Margaret's character currently, we'll just talk about your character for a minute.
Okay.
Sometimes at the minute, because Margaret's so hellbent, she loves to find the story.
Yes.
Like, it's all about like finding out the story and finding out the mystery.
I love to dig.
And at one point, you did nearly get yourself in hot water.
Oh my God, yes I did. I misinterpreted something completely wrong. I don't know.
She was basically arguing with the king.
I was arguing with the king. Listen, my character...
Oh, she's full of fuck.
She's full of fuck.
Yeah,
she doesn't give a fuck. She wants answers and she wants them yesterday.
Yeah.
But Margaret, the person, got a little bit of information wrong. Basically, we were talking to a king of a land who is the son of Tyr. In the world's law that we're playing in right now, the Fimbulwinter ended and Ragnarok was supposed to happen.
Okay.
And Tyr sacrificed... All wrong.
I'm waiting.
Tyr sacrificed his life to stop Ragnarok. And this had only happened about 6 months ago. I, in my head, had it that this had happened thousands of years ago. So we rock up to the literal son of Tyr, who's a king. He's talking about the sacrifice his dad made, and my character, Rayla, wasn't being very sympathetic. She was pushing for an answer because Margaret, the person, had the times confused.
Yeah, you thought it happened so long ago that it wasn't like
a big deal.
A fresh wound that this person was dealing with.
Turns out, 6 months ago, this dude lost his fucking dad and as a sacrifice to all of us, and he was cut up about it, and my fucking druid was sat there like...
Tell me why!
So...
But
yes, sometimes it can be a curse.
Yeah, sometimes you just... There's been a lot of information, and sometimes some things can just, fall by the wayside.
Slip through the net.
Yeah,
yep.
And it's not like you had the story right. It was just the timeline.
The time was completely wrong, and I nearly got wrecked for it. Rightly so.
Yeah. You didn't get wrecked for it. You just,
I was just very rude to him.
You're a bit rude to him.
I was a bit pushy with him.
But he's also, quite a tough character, and he wasn't, like crying about it and stuff like that. He just took it on the chin and asked you to stop, and eventually you did.
Yeah. That's what I got the badge for in that week. Made the king cry.
Yeah. But yeah. So it's very great to have a note taker, and I think everybody in the party appreciates it.
Thank you. I enjoy it. I love being the note taker. And then we move on to our final archetype of the person who just wants to be there with their friends and they just want to have a good, fun time.
Matthew.
And that embodies Matthew.
100%.
I have never met a man who is so excited and so happy to see his friends week on week.
Doesn't take notes.
No, doesn't retain any information about anything ever.
Yeah, he can be a bit forgetful now and then.
It's like, you know, that cheese that has all the holes in it. His brain is just made up of cheese.
But the thing is, you can't want anything more than somebody who turns up every week and is just super, super, super excited to play D&D.
And who's willing to, like, get into the role and who's willing to take all of this information on as if it's real-life information and it's happening to him.
Roleplays his little heart out and loves combat and just turns up and just has a great time and just enjoying being around everyone.
He just wants to be here and have a great time. What more can you ask for?
Absolutely nothing.
So
you couldn't ask for anything more, really.
I agree.
Just enjoys the fuck out of D&D.
He really
just
does.
Enjoys the fuck out of playing every week.
He does, and he loves seeing his friends.
Yeah,
I feel like nothing fills his
nothing fills his cup
his
more
pickle,
than just nothing fills his pickle.
Nothing fills his
heart more than just turning up and playing D&D every week. And, you know, all of you are like that. You know, you all turn up every week and you all give 110%.
Yeah.
And, you know, I try my best to do the same every week as well. And, you know, we all agree with that, but just Matthew, man, he just enjoys
I know.
it so much.
Yeah, I know. So that's kind of the archetypes that we...
And as a DM, you're going to have these players. You might have a few extra people who just love turning up. You might have a couple of note takers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you just got to understand, like, if you've got a party that doesn't love combat, then just don't do one every session. Just have one now and then.
Yeah.
If you're playing a group that just fucking wants to kill monsters all the time, then just dungeon crawl your heart out. Just do that. You just got to read the group.
Yeah, and the thing is, as long as that's what you want as a DM as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you turn up to session 0 and you're like, oh yeah, we just like to fucking have 6 combats a day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you turn up as a role player who sort of, you know, enjoys combat but isn't exactly what they're playing for, that's not your group.
Yeah.
And that is something that you need to establish straight away.
Yes.
That's a happy group. If you're playing in a super combat heavy game as a role player, you might not be enjoying yourself that much.
Yeah, and there's a saying that is so true: no D&D is better than bad D&D.
Correct.
And I cannot stress that enough. I would so much rather be playing no D&D at all than having a really bad time playing a game that I love. And it's hard to come to that conclusion. Maybe some of you listening now are like, I'm not having fun. I dread it every week. Maybe you don't get along with the group you're in. You have a different play style. Maybe the DM is a different play style to what you want. And it's hard to say no. And it's hard to move away from that. But you have to.
Yeah, you do. You have to be honest with yourself, I think. And
you do.
I think none of those brands of D&D are bad.
No.
Not a single one. Like, a real gritty realism campaign where you've got to, like, drop your pack and you like encumbrance and like weather every day has to be like rolled for and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't like to play in that campaign, but that doesn't mean that campaign's shit. It's just not for me.
And so many people would love to play in that.
I know those people. We tried a game like that.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't for us. But they still they were just looking for some more players, and we joined.
They're still playing to this day.
They might be, and
no, they are.
They were an amazing group.
Yeah,
and
they were really nice, genuinely nice people, but we just didn't vibe with the way they played.
It wasn't our brand of D&D. They had a lot of very hard combats. And we had a dungeon crawl. We had 3 combats. It's the first time this campaign we've had 3 combats, and I can guarantee you it's not going to happen for a long time again. But that would be their normal session.
Yes, and just because it wasn't... You made the point perfectly. Just because we didn't like it doesn't mean that is a bad way to play.
No.
And yeah, I know I just said the point, no D&D is better than bad D&D. Bad D&D to you. If you're not enjoying it, you don't owe anyone anything. you owe yourself.
There will be a party out there for you.
100%.
And just because this isn't it, don't get disheartened.
I agree. And one of the last notes I have on here in big bold letters is
pickle.
Pickle! How did you know? It says communication.
Yes. The whole thing.
Thriving groups thrive because of communication. They thrive because they can talk about all the things we've outlined above. People can say, no, I don't want to do this. Yes, I do want to do this. I can play here. I can't play here. It's all about communication.
Yeah.
And
another thing that's not on there.
Oh.
That's not on there that I've just thought about.
Yeah.
We play D&D around our house. If you go to someone's house, respect the house rules. Clean up.
Oh, right.
Not like the house rules and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
so I mean, like, no shoes.
Oh, yeah, like, take your fucking shoes off, you animals.
But, like, obviously, there might be a bit of teething issues when you first come around and stuff like that. But, you know, like, if you go around and maybe buy some snacks because somebody else is hosting.
Yeah.
Clean up the rubbish and stuff like that. Just like little bits like that could take literally 5 minutes, but it goes so far to have a happy party.
It really does. And it takes a load off the DM as well. Like, I know Well,
you say that. That's because I'm the DM and we play here.
Yeah.
It might be the DM goes to somebody else's house.
Yes, yeah. True. No, you are right. It takes a lot off the host, I suppose I should say, to know that someone's bringing the snacks, to know that your house is going to be respected. If you have pets, your pets are going to be respected.
Yeah.
We know every week someone's probably going to bring some form of snack.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about feeding people. People welcome themselves to our fridge. They can help themselves to drinks whenever they want.
And we're comfortable with that. We would rather that because, you know.
Yeah.
Like, luckily for us, our playing is here and our kitchen is behind the camera.
You're behind our kitchen.
Yeah,
no, you're in front of our kitchen.
So it's all one room. And
if you look really hard in here, you can probably see.
Yeah. So like people
don't look at my dishes.
We're more than happy for people to just get up and go get themselves a drink because that means we don't have to stop the game and people can just run behind and just go and sort it out.
We don't have to do it.
Yeah, but just like a little conversation about not house rules as in the game house rules, but house rules as in the host's house rules.
Yeah, good point.
Also a good thing.
Good point. Everyone loves the snack captain.
Oh yeah.
Bring some fucking snacks.
Bring some snacks.
Take some load off your host and bring
some snacks.
Don't
need much. Just bring some popcorn or something.
Bring some popcorn. Clean up after yourselves.
Done.
That's all.
Nice and easy.
And I guess we'll round off this topic of what makes a good group with, we need to remember it's just a game.
Yes.
Listen, people can get heated, especially if in a game you care about. People as human beings with stupid ape brains, sometimes, we can get a little bit heated about it. But you have to remember it's just a game.
Yeah, like, it does mean a lot to a lot of people. Like, you know, we turn up every week and we play these characters and we want to finish the campaign, we want to get through the story and we want to all make it out alive. So when things go wrong, or if people make bad decisions, or if people make mistakes, like, don't just fucking blast them for it. Don't put them on blast and flame them for it. Like, just remember that we are all, and things can get heated, but as long as you turn around afterwards and be like, look, sorry, I just was, it was all up in my grill, and I just wanted, like, if you get upset, it's okay, it means a lot, but just say sorry.
Yeah.
Don't, like, let it get the better of you and be too proud to say sorry, because it does mean a lot to a lot of people.
Definitely.
D&D means a lot, especially to us.
Yes, it means everything to us.
There's been many a times around our table where it's got heated.
Yeah.
And all that we did was literally after the session was like, sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It happens.
Yeah.
But just don't forget that it's a game.
Yeah, it is a game. And at the end of the day, as long as everyone is having fun, then you're in a good group, regardless of anything else.
Anything else, everything else, as long as you're having fun. Yeah. That's what matters.
As long as everyone
have fun.
That's the whole point of the game. And I think we can forget that sometimes when getting weighed down with everything else.
Yes.
You're with your friends. You've all dedicated the time to be with each other at this specific time because you want to be.
Of course you do.
Have fun. That's all.
Have fun.
Just have fun. So, I guess we will move on to our final topic of the day. Oh my God, you shocked me. Is our AI-generated BBEG.
I hope it's good.
It's yeah, you know what? I forget that you don't look at these bits.
No.
And so I tried a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you've watched the first episode where we made some monsters and some stat blocks, the first iteration that I put in created a very bog standard, what you would expect from a D&D combat based on all the tropes. It kind of did the same thing here.
Okay.
For the sake of brevity, I haven't included that one. I've just included the last one that I personally thought was the most interesting.
Mm-hmm. And talking about that first one, I think that, it did, it was a dragon. It had goblin minions. Mm-hmm. It was the top of a volcano. You know what I mean? It was all very tropey stuff.
Still cool.
But I still think it did a good job of explaining it.
I agree.
It might have been quite simple, but for some people who've never played it before, that might be exactly what you need.
I completely agree. And we probably will at some point talk about the other BBEG.
Okay.
I can never say that right.
BBEG.
BBEG. But for now,
okay,
I would like to talk about the Collector.
Is that the name?
Yeah, I should probably go through the prompt first, right? Pretend I never said that
okay.
dramatically, and I'll say it again.
No, you said it now. It's out in the world.
As if through the power of editing, I can't take it out.
Don't do that. You'll ruin the authenticity.
Okay, so my prompt. This is ChatGPT that we've used the whole time.
Yeah,
I'll link it below.
Yes,
is create a new interesting BBEG in a Dungeons and Dragons game. Explain the motives and the reasoning behind their morally questionable plan. So, the name is the Collector. And it's broken it down so it goes, the appearance. The Collector is a mysterious figure, often seen in a cloak and hood obscuring their face. They carry a large ornate chest with them at all times, filled with strange and unusual objects.
Interesting.
Do you know what that reminds me of straight off the bat?
Go on.
You know in Gerald's game?
The big tall guy who's in the room?
The big guy with the fucking scary...
He has the briefcase, doesn't he?
I said a briefcase.
What does he open?
He opens something... His legs.
No!
He opens and he has the main woman's ring in it, and it turns out he was a real dude.
Yeah.
Not in real life. Yeah.
But yeah.
That's immediately what that reminded me of, which scared the shit out of me, to be honest.
It's cool. I like where it's going.
Yeah, I like the vibe. So the background. The Collector is an eccentric and powerful sorcerer who has dedicated their life to the pursuit of the acquisition of rare and powerful artifacts.
Okay, so he's a magic user.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like it.
They have travelled the world, searching for ancient relics and powerful magical items, amassing a vast collection.
And is that what's in his chest?
Hence the name The Collector, I'm assuming.
Collector.
However, they have grown obsessed with completing their collection and will stop at nothing to acquire the final pieces.
Ooh.
They believe that their collection will give them ultimate power and knowledge, and they are willing to do whatever it takes to achieve it.
Oh, I love this. This is such a cool idea.
Even if it means resorting to morally questionable methods like kidnapping, extortion, and murder to obtain it.
I thought he'd already done all of those things, to be honest. That's why he was the bad guy. He hasn't done those yet.
I guess this is more like the origin.
He's just pushed someone over.
He's just
spat in someone's eye.
He learned that someone had a pickle fear and brought out a tray of pickles.
Okay. So, is there anything else?
So that's their background,
okay.
And then it explains why they're doing it. So there's a few bullet points we'll go over.
Okay. I thought we already had the reasons, but all right.
Yes, I'll get on to that.
Yeah.
So the Collector's obsession with acquiring knowledge and powerful artifacts has consumed them, and they believe that obtaining this artifact will give them ultimate power and knowledge, but it is also said to be extremely dangerous and must not be used.
Okay, what, like a specific artifact?
Yes, I'm assuming this last artifact.
Right, this last one.
That they're
the hardest
looking
one
for.
to get.
Yes.
Okay.
They have a twisted sense of morality, believing that the ends justifies the means, and that the acquisition of knowledge and power is worth any cost.
Yeah, so is there any more?
Yes.
So it's like, what does he get? Like, what power does he gain when he gets this last artifact, or the last one?
You keep these thoughts brewing in your head. You think about this. So, the last 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
They have a large group of henchmen and loyal followers who are willing to do whatever it takes to help them obtain this artifact. even if it means resorting to morally questionable methods. So,
okay.
And then finally, the BBEG. The players will... Sorry, I don't know why it's worded like this. The players will have to face someone who is willing to do whatever it takes to achieve their goal. They are not a traditional villain, but they are willing to use morally questionable methods to obtain what they want.
I would say he's a pretty traditional villain.
Yeah. This will make the players question their own morality, as they might be tempted to obtain the artifact too. But they'll also have to consider the consequences of their actions.
So this artifact obviously does something to the people that it comes in contact with.
Yeah. And then finally, it also provides an opportunity for players to explore the themes of obsession, morality, and power in-game.
There we go. Okay, nice.
So that's the collector.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's not very... I know I said it's traditional bad guy, bad guy wants something, but I think it's flavored in a very cool way.
I agree. I think that's really interesting. I really like the way that it at the end it goes, this is how the players will have to deal with it, and this is the themes that it will pose to the players, which is interesting.
So as a DM, what you would need to do is, what are these artifacts?
Yes.
And what do they do?
Yes.
Where are they?
Mm-hmm.
Who has he defeated to get to this point?
Yes.
Has he amassed power within the land? Is the collector well known?
Is he a known person?
Yeah, or is it
he
all
someone
been
who
secret so far?
Operates in the shadows? When I first read this, granted, I did only read it through the once before this. For some reason, I pictured it as he was collecting souls of things.
Yeah, see, but there you go. You put this in. You put this prompt in. You've got something strange back. Because it's not, he's the collector who walks around with a chest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not the big bad guy with a massive sword who stabs people. You know what I mean? He's weird man with chest. And that's
what they call me.
That's just made you go, what if he was collecting the souls of these, I don't know, ancient gods or these titans that used to roam the earth, and when he gets them all, he then unlocks some sort of power.
For some reason, I was picturing it more like trinkets, he'd collect the soul of a rabbit, the soul of a fox, and then he'd do something. You know what? This is why I'm not the DM anymore.
But that's a cool idea. There you go. That's such an awesome little idea that started off with ChatGPT again.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't have to be objects. It doesn't have to be artifacts. It can be souls. It can be, I don't know, powerful gems. It can be anything.
It can be concepts. It can be ideas.
And when he collects them all, what does he get?
That's the question, isn't it?
Has somebody collected them all before and gone mad? Has somebody collected them all before and they're the person who's ruled the land, and this guy sort of wants to do morally ambiguous things to get them all to then have his new sort of new world order or break down the system?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And it says that he has henchmen and followers. Yeah. Again, that's all things you can decide if you want that to be. Yeah. But I think that is really interesting.
That's a great idea. And do you know what I mean? If you were struggling for a big bad evil guy, there's your jumping off point again. This is what I love about this thing. Mm-hmm. Is yes, it's not the most original. Yes, it's not a complete thing, but it just sparks a little bit of juice that you need.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's a really cool idea.
It's the fact that it hasn't gone for all the typical, they want, at least it hasn't explicitly said they want world domination. They haven't said they want to extinguish XYZ people.
Yeah, it said that they get the artifact and then they get some sort of power.
They believe it's some sort of ultimate power.
Yeah, what if it's not that?
Yeah. What if?
What if it unlocks something completely different? And what if he's not even the big bad evil guy? Maybe he unlocks the big
key
bad evil guy
to the big bad evil guy
without knowing. And maybe he was doing all of this not out of his own. Maybe he was hired by the big bad evil guy to do it. Yeah. Or maybe he has been controlled unknowingly.
Yes. He's been compelled.
Yeah.
By whatever this is. Maybe he was just a collector of normal fucking trinkets.
And then he picked one up one day.
Stumbled upon the wrong one that's just over time corrupted his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like.
There you go. How many fucking ideas have we just came up with there?
Yeah.
That's great.
I agree. I think that was a really good shout.
That was an amazing one. I really liked that. I think that was really good.
that was a really interesting one that I would really love to know if anyone ever uses these things. Like, if any of the fucking shit we've spewed out.
I would love to hear if somebody started a campaign and used this either for the setting, for the evil guy, for like the first combat, for anything.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to hear in the comments if anybody's actually successfully taken one of these, changed it slightly, just tweaked a few things, and ran a full campaign with it.
Yeah, to be fair, someone left a comment on one of the TikToks we posted about this specifically, and they said, when I can't think of my own inspiration, I use it as something to kick off the creative process.
That's exactly what it should be used for.
I completely agree.
I think it's such a great little tool.
There was so many thoughts, some better than others.
Yeah, but we sat here for probably like 10 minutes. You told me it, and then we went over probably 5-6 decent ideas.
Yeah. So it's worth looking at.
I definitely think so.
Yeah. You what?
I definitely think so.
I thought you said I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't fucking think so.
Fucking shit, that.
The collector.
It's well shit.
Get fucked. Well, I think that quite about does it.
Yeah.
For this.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to sign off with?
No.
Nothing.
No, I don't think so.
No. All right. Bye.
A few people have been commenting saying, because we did another AI one, because people were like, "Oh, do some more AI stuff." Yeah. That's cool. So let us know what you want to hear. If you want to hear any more, if you want to hear like our favorite classes to play, if you like to hear something about our character backstories and what D&D means to us and all those good stuff, just let us know what you want to hear, and we'll make some stuff.
Yeah, we should at some point. We'll get like a form up that you guys can fill in and send things over. We're not, we're not maybe at that point quite yet.
No, but
at some point, we actually would really love to go over people's personal, like, TPK stories, people's personal character death stories. So if you could send them in, we'll compile them and we'll go over them, because I think that is so interesting.
Yeah, and it's like, it's nice to hear, because you think that you've got it all figured out, and then somebody will give you a character death story and the way that your like DM or your group dealt with it, and you're like, oh my god, it just opens your eyes to like different ways of hearing about it. I think not as Khadgar in World of Warcraft says, knowledge is power.
Yes.
And you're never the finished article, and just hearing things is so important to broaden your horizons of how to deal with things and things that you can learn. And we just love hearing them all as well.
We have never had a character death.
No, we've been
close.
Unbelievably close a few times.
Been very close, but we've never had one. So please, share your character death stories with us and or your TPK stories with us. I'd love to hear them.
Yeah.
So
let's do the typical ending. If you could please like, comment, and subscribe and ring the bell. It helps us more than you would know. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us today and for the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, all of the likes and the comments and the favourites and things like that have meant a lot. So,
it has. It really has.
We appreciate it.
Yeah,
we really thank you very much.
So thank you.
Yeah.
We have been the Eldritch Podblast.
Yes, we have.
And we'll see you on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.